Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, the Crypto Siege, with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is the digital asset space, guys. Good morning, happy Sunday. Hope you guys have a blessed and successful and prosperous day. I wanted to continue the talk from the video, from my last video, and what I'm going to title this video is The Global Economic Crisis Has Zero Patience and Waits on No One. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because when Mark Carney came out and he talked about, you know, this virtual currency, this digital currency replacing the U.S. dollar, you know, and he had mentioned that statement about Libra. And what he said is it would be a Libra-like currency. You know, some people kind of lost their mind and thinking, oh my God, it's going to be Libra and all this other kind of different stuff like that. But don't forget, first of all, he said Libra-like. And the other thing to also not forget is he said, you know, this thing has to be perfect. This currency has to be perfect from the beginning, from the onset, right? Because people cannot be losing their money. So I wanted to touch on those two things. Number one, actually, so it would be, so those three things. First of all, the global economic crisis has zero patience and wait on no one. In other words, it is upon us. It's you know, some of the smarter people in the financial world said it's already here. It's already here. You know, if you watch that video from Sam I Am, we talked with some of his kind of insider type people. They say it's already here. And so remember from, you know, us doing our homework and doing our due diligence, we got to think of the bigger picture. And the bigger picture that they're going to start putting out to us is corporate debt, global debt, central bank debt. Those are the narratives that will be spun in mainstream media to kind of get us up to speed on what they already know. Right? And so when I say it has zero patience, means that it's not waiting for us to get it together. Right? It's not waiting for us to, you know, kind of figure things out and then it'll hit us. No. It's coming. You know, when you start hearing about the different, are you noticing? Are you guys catching that they keep mentioning another country in some kind of ruin? They're speaking a little bit about Germany. They've mentioned Italy, right? We already know about Turkey and Venezuela, right? They keep mentioning more and more countries having some crises, some economic crisis, right? They keep mentioning more and more and more. And so the next thing is going to be central banks, right? It's going to be that central bank that they're going to start talking about that in some way. And then they're going to start talking about global, that this has become a global economic crisis. So that's coming. That's coming. And, you know, you guys, if you watch my videos or listen to my videos, you know that I said that XRP's end game, the end game for XRP, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is to help solve the global economic crisis, which is illiquidity. To me, that is the end game. The end game, right? When you think about, I think a lot of times, it's so interesting. It's a lot of times we hear, like, when Ripple got that lady, Michelle Bond, to come on board, and you think about the work that she's doing, like, you hear the titles, and you think, oh, okay, cool. When really, that is them telling us what's going on. Why would Ripple need someone in Michelle Bond's line of work? Why would they need her to come over here to Ripple and do that? Right? Here's the reason. Because when they mentioned the company Ripple and how this private sector company, fintech company, is going to help solve this global economic crisis, right? They got to roll out the players. They got to roll out the team behind this company, right? And they can't be slouches. And they have to talk about their roles and what they're doing so that it makes sense to the average Joe and Jane. Remember, this is going to be sold to the world. To the world. And it has to, in order for the masses to get it, they got to put the right people in place doing the right thing. Doing the right thing, having the right roles so that the masses, right, so they can keep the masses from losing their mind. So that they can let the masses know, no. We have a plan. You see what I'm saying? And this is the plan. We need a public figure. We need a face behind the role, right? Behind the company. We need faces behind the company. So it makes sense to us. If it was some covert thing behind, some CIA-like plan, we wouldn't go for that. The masses would be in an uproar. There's no plan. We're all gonna die. The economy is over, right? No, they gotta have a plan, and they gotta put faces behind it that the single mom of 3 kids can relate to, can understand. That's why they do that. And so when you think about Dilip Rao, for example, think about this dude's gig at Ripple. To set up the infrastructure and establish relationships with central banks. That's the dude's gig. That is his job. Who has a job like that? I just want you to, who has a job like that? Right? Certainly no other company in the digital asset space. Certainly not. Right? Think about it. Certainly not. There may be some spinoffs, there may be some spinoff, like some of the people from Zilliqa trying to do something in their own country, in Singapore, but not worldwide. We're talking 50 central banks already have partnerships with Ripple. Think about Dilip Rao's position with Ripple and the role that he plays. Going out and establishing these relationships, and more importantly, educating those banks, central banks, what's going on, because they don't know. One of the best ways to move a product is to educate them on the product, not try to sell them on the product. Educate them on the product so they feel as though they're making the decision themselves. And that's what Ripple is doing. Think about Michelle Barnes, think about Dilip Rao, think about Ashish Burla, you think about Miguel Diaz, and think about the roles that they're playing. Right? Think about those roles, and every time they get behind, get on the other side of a camera, or in front of a camera, they're educating the masses of what's going on, right? By educating them. So it's easy for us to buy. That's how it goes. And I'm telling you, it's genius in motion. So again, the global economic crisis has zero patience and waits on no one. It is upon us. That's why he said Libra-like and not Libra. Because the Libra-like thing is, let's think about that for a second. It was put out there as a stable coin, or stable-ish coin, right? That the masses, right, can use for whatever, this and that, and whatever. That's why Ripple, and this is why XRP more importantly, that's why XRP has been moving sideways, if you will, for as long as it has, because it wants to act and perform like a stable coin. That's what they, the powers that be, needed to do. Doesn't mean that the price valuation, the price spike is not going to happen. It's still going to happen, because in the end they need it. They need it to be high. So that is going to happen. But they can't have it be high and then all of a sudden, because of speculative investors and fear of missing out, that it got this massive volatility. So they can't have that. They can't have that. That's why XRP is kind of doing the thing that it's going to do. And I'm more convinced today than ever that there is going to be this price spike, whether it be 10, 20, 30, 40, or $50. That's going to happen, in my humble opinion. So, Libra-like, right? And so here's another thing that I was checking out, and I thought this was very, very interesting that the digital nomad investor mentioned in his video. He said, it's when they mention, what they do is the stuff that they don't talk about is the stuff they don't want us to know, right? But the stuff that they mention or they say, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're telling us that that's what they're not going to be using. They're not going to tell us what they are going to be using. They'll tell us what they're not going to be using. They're telling us what they're not going to. Libra-like, right? You get that? It's not telling us what it is. It's just telling us what it's not going to, right? It's not going to be Libra. It's not going to be Bitcoin. It's not going to be Ethereum, as Madame Lagarde likes to say, right? So we should get excited about the fact that they're not mentioning XRP, because then that lets us know where they're going. That's letting us know where they're going. And my mentor always said to me, find out, right? He was a great business mind, and what he said is, find out where everyone else is going and then get there first. And that, my friend, is the XRP hodler. I hope you guys get that. I hope you guys know that. I hope you guys understand that's who you are. You figured out where everyone else is going, and you got there first. That's how wealth is created. And again, you got to do your own homework, you got to do your own due diligence. Certainly don't take financial advice from a YouTuber, right? But man, you got to leverage the opportunity that you have. You got to take advantage of the opportunity that you have. You got to trust your gut, trust your instinct, and run with that. That's how it works. That's how that works. So the global economic crisis has zero patience and waits on no one. Libra-like, and get excited about the fact that they're mentioning Bitcoin and they're mentioning Ethereum and they're not mentioning XRP. Right? So here's the thing that I'm thinking. So Xrp has been around for out in production doing this thing for about, I don't know, is it 10 months? 8 to 10 months, somewhere around that. Hasn't been quite a year yet, right? So when you think about this product that's going to be used to solve the global economic crisis, do you think that they're going to roll that out after about 6 months and say, yeah, oh yeah, we're good now. We're talking the global economic crisis. Do you think that they're only going to, do a test in a real world test for 6 to 10 months? Of course not. They're going to need more time to test this thing out. They got to come at Xrp from all kinds of different angles. The amount of people on the Ripple net, the amount of transactions and volumes, the quantity of the transaction. In other words, $100,000 transaction, a $1 million transaction, then a $10 million transaction, and then a $50 million transaction, and then they got to go do that number, and then they got to go 10 $100,000 transaction, 10 $1 million transaction. Let's test 10 $50 million transactions. You see what I'm saying? They got to come at Xrp from all kinds of different angles, because the end game, in my humble opinion, is to solve the global economic crisis that is illiquidity. They can't say, well, we ran some, well, we tested it out for 6 months and it's good. They can't say that. Not, like the masses are not going to understand that. Be like, what? 6 months, 6 to 10 months, that's it? See, you see what I'm saying? They gotta run it through the rigmarole, if you will. They gotta put it through they gotta put it through all kinds of stuff. They gotta test it. They gotta see how strong and fast and all of that stuff. They gotta come at Xrp from all different kinds of ways. And so if we're 10 months in, for example, it's got to be at least a year, wouldn't you think? At least a year. My guess, it's a year and a half. Because again, the global economic crisis has zero patience and waits on no one. So my guess is a year and a half at the most. There's a reason why Donald Trump is saying things like, if I could tank the U.S. dollar, I can make the U.S. dollar weak anytime I want it. There's a reason why he said that. There's a reason why Mark Carney is coming out in a public symposium and mentioning a virtual currency, a digital currency replacing the U.S. dollar. That's not. You think he's just gonna say that without having talked to Jerome Powell and the Donald? You think he's gonna just come at the U.S. dollar like that without having had conversations with those dudes already? Of course not. It's just all being rolled out in front of us. We just got to pay attention to it. And private sector, you got Madame Lagarde talking about the central banks or the banks, developing a partnership with the private sector. Come on. It's right there, guys. You just have to pay attention. It's right there. They're telling us all the moves, what they're planning on doing. And the only challenge that we have is, are we willing to give up the PlayStations and the Xboxes and the Jordans? Are we willing to give that up and take the fiat dollar and put it into the digital asset space? And more importantly, the greatest digital asset ever created. Certainly do your own homework before you take your fiat dollars and put it into anything, because the digital asset space is risky. It can be at times volatile. So you certainly never ever want to put any money that you cannot afford to lose, right? Certainly don't want to take your rent or mortgage money, right? You don't want to do things like that. That would not be smart, right? But get your cash flow up. Or if I was talking to my sister, and I have, you need to get your cash flow up so that you have some discretionary cash to put into the digital asset space. The amount is not as important as putting it in the digital asset space. $50 here, $100 there. That's how it goes. Because this is early. We're early in this digital asset space game. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about that because I think it's very, very interesting. There are all kinds of telling signs from Mark Carney publicly making that statement, and then being interviewed on CNBC and saying it again is massive. It's all over the news. It's all over the news, just preparing us right? Little bits, little breadcrumbs here and there to prepare us to keep the masses, right? Keep them level, right? They don't want panic. They don't want people, rioting in the streets, especially not in the USA. They don't want that. They don't want that, right? So, you see what happened with China when they devalued their fiat dollar. Saw what happened there. You've already seen what's going on in Venezuela, right? Just gotta be careful. Have to be real careful. So, and they know that. But if they're rolling it out, guys, they are rolling it out. And the reason why that Libra-like thing is mentioned, because, listen, that's an idea. That's a concept in a white paper at the most, as people would say. And they need something now. They need something now. And they have it, and they know it. And certainly Mark Carney knows it, because the Bank of England is a Ripple partner. Certainly he knows it. And I heard something about Dilip Rao actually having met with a central bank conference sometime last year as well. I mean, right? The Digital Nomad Investor said it was a central bank conference, and it was not recorded and no transcribing as well. I mean, think about closed doors. That, it's like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. This is how we can do it. Again, educating. So, it's a plan. They know what it is. They just got to be prepared for it. And so when they strength test that Xrp thing and they feel as though it's ready, then it's on. Then that quote unquote turn of the switch, flipping of the switch will take place. I mean, it's right there in front of us. You just got to pay attention. And, it's cool to have a healthy skepticism, but don't doubt. That's a different thing. Doubting is a different thing. And again, to this argument of people say they ain't gonna let a whole bunch of people get rich, there aren't a whole lot of people. There aren't a bunch of people. You got to get that. We are in the majority. We are in the top 1% of 1% as XRP hodlers. Got to get that. It's not tons of people. Trust me when I tell you that. The masses are just trying to live paycheck to paycheck. The masses have no idea about the digital asset space, and if they do know a little bit about it, they are afraid to look into it and get into it. Because mainstream media has not told them to get into it, to take their fiat dollars and put it into it. And what I fear the most is when mainstream media begins to tell them to do that, it's going to be too late. Right? It's going to be too late. So if you're here in this space and you're an XRP hodler and you have some other digital assets, you're blessed. You're more than blessed. You are ahead of the masses. And I'm talking about, when I say the masses, I'm talking about some people that make good money. To some people that make $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million a year. There are sports players who are making millions who are not in the digital assets. And they think that they're good. And you will displace them. You will displace them. And I get excited about this new transfer of wealth because I firmly believe that the new wealthy are going to be just a bunch of good people. I really do. Not that there won't be some bad and greedy people, because there will be. But I think that the new wealth is going to be some good people. And they're looking to do some good things. I really do believe that. I really do believe that. And that's exciting for me. I know I'm going to be one of them. I hope that you know that you're going to be one of them. I hope that all you guys have got your plans laid out for what you're gonna do with your gains, and I hope that I hope that there's some form of charity in that. I hope that there is some form of charity in that. But again, I'm not telling what to do with your money. You got to know what you want to do with it for sure. I hope you have a plan. In either case, I hope you got your exit plans. I hope you got your exit points, so that you don't make these emotional decisions. You just make your decision. You just following your plan. So I hope that's what you guys are doing. So, but anyway, listen, guys, I've been rambling. I wanted to bring this to you guys. I hope you guys have a chance to think about that. Just understand that Mark Carney statement is huge, and they're letting us know what's up. They're preparing us for what is about to happen. You just got to be able to read the signs, if you will, and understand that we're early to this game. Never ever forget that we're early in the game. But you are part of this new asset class, and you're early to it. Get excited about that. Get excited about that. And I hope you guys are doing what the savvy investor and what wealthy people do, and that is educate themselves about the space that they play in. So again, as you guys heard me say 1,000 times, level up. Level up your financial IQ. Level up your digital asset space IQ. Level up your XRP IQ. Level up. It's massively important. I hope you guys had a chance to check out those 2 YouTube channels that I recommended. It's important. It is important. Visualize yourself beyond ordinary. Visualize yourself beyond ordinary. Go check out that YouTube channel, VYBO. The other YouTube channel check out is World King. And check out those I am affirmation videos. See yourself there. See yourself with those things. See yourself living that lifestyle. I wish that they would add in there some kind of charity work or something. Your foundation. Just, can you see yourself with your foundation, with your name behind a foundation, doing some greater good in this world? Hope you guys can see that happening. Hope you guys can see it happening. I can see it happening for me, and I can see it happening for you. So guys, listen, never ever forget that old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.